All right, so I wanted to just take the time to make this video to show you a particular trade that was a bit tricky this morning. That's why I wanted to, instead of just doing a short video like I often do, just to kind of show what trade I take. When they're simple trades, they can be explained in a minute and a half. But in this case, I wanted to show you a little bit more of what was going on here. It's a little bit more advanced, you could say, order flow, although it's based on all of the same principles that I talk about in every one of my videos. Let's get into it. So let's just look at the chart for now, because I already explained, what's going on the chart, and then we can really look at Bookmap to see exactly what it looked like. So first of all, it's important to know your trading hours, and I think it's made my trading a lot better when I know exactly what session I'm going to be trading and what hours within that session. So I trade in Asia, and Asia Open is not necessarily a clear time. It's around where I live. 7 a.m. you can have the big influx of volume. Sometimes it's going to be 8 a.m. So I like to be on the charts a little bit before 7 a.m. to kind of take a feel for the market, to do a little bit of technical analysis. And then if I see some moves that I'm feeling like, could work out, that I see that I have a good setup at 7 a.m., I'll take one. Sometimes I'm done trading at 7:15 a.m. In this case, I was seeing some stuff here at 7 a.m. I didn't really dare to take that trade. I was just not feeling it. And then I said, okay, I looked at the charts. I saw that I missed this move. I was like, all right, let me go walk the dog and be back on the charts at 8 a.m. And so I did take a trade here, excuse me, at 8 a.m. So what was going on here? From basically 6 a.m., so pre-Asia Open, to 8 a.m. until we had the real influx in volume, we were kind of ranging, right? We took some highs from, these were the Friday highs from a New York session. As you can see, again, there I kind of wanted to take a trade, but I didn't see exactly what I wanted on Bookmap, just wasn't feeling it. And also we were in a very strong uptrend, right? I'm not going to zoom out too much, but you get the idea. So what did I see here? Consolidating from 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. equals fuel for 8 a.m. volume. I often talk about like the market needs fuel to push in a certain direction, and I was feeling like taking these highs, maybe trapping some shorts, here also like making people believe that maybe we're going to go all the way down there and take these lows. You had a lot of shorts trapped here. But we were never really breaking out, right? We broke out of this high, then went here, but we didn't break over this high. We kind of failed. So this was telling me that within, we can draw kind of a range here, actually. You see, this is what I'm talking about. From 6 a.m. to 8 a.m., we were stuck in a range. And I do like ranges because I don't necessarily like to trade them that much. But this is telling me we're consolidating. We're creating fuel, we're trapping traders up and down, left and right, so that when we do get a breakout at a certain time, which I was expecting could happen, there's a better chance for that breakout to really occur. Once you've had a fake out here, and then a fake out, just a fake out here below, and then, this is telling me that once we do get a breakout to the upside, sorry, Bookmap is talking to me here. When we do have a breakout, most likely to the upside, considering we're in a very strong uptrend, it's going to be interesting. And so I saw that that breakout didn't occur at 7:12 a.m. It could have done so, with the 7 a.m. volume, but we didn't really have that volume. Even on Bookmap, the dots, the green dots, the red dots, they were not that big. So it was telling me the volume is not here yet. And quite often, when the volume is not here at 7 a.m., it comes at 8 a.m., and it surely did. Okay, so this range has consolidation, kind of creating liquidity, so to speak, but creating fuel for the market to do something a bit later, right? Now in this area, this is interesting, area of absorption. So within this range, again, I'm going to draw it for you a little bit here. Within this range, we have kind of a low of the range in this whole area, and every time we hit that low, we bounce from it, right? And then I'm going to show you what it looks on Bookmap because that's when it's interesting. Okay, so we have area of absorption at the bottom of that range. And then here at 8 a.m., look what happens. This is the first candle here. Well, actually, the first candle of 8 a.m. is kind of a doji. Then we have a fake out to the downside with a lot of sellers here that got absorbed, of course. That's always what we like to see before taking any trade. And then, boom, a big candle on the other way, and then some more volume. And then that could have been enough for me, but I was still worried about this range. I was like, let me see a bit more buyers, even if I'm going to buy the top of the range, which I'm not a fan of doing. I'd like to have a bit more confirmation, tight stop loss, one-to-one risk to reward, because the last thing I was looking at is that there was a lot of limit orders here on Bookmap, right? Liquidity pool, 80 contracts, and it seemed like it was quite likely to me that this would act as a magnet, you could say, for price, that price was going to fill these orders, maybe reverse. I didn't expect it to reverse. I expected it to break through because we created all that fuel here. I thought even if we have a lot of sellers here, I think we're going to push through it, right? Because we're going to have enough fuel, enough volume to do it. And that's what we did. But again, I'm not a greedy trader. I say that all the time. I want to be done, quick. I want to have a high win rate strategy, and I'd rather do one-to-one and be done. Look, this trade lasted. I entered here 1, 2, 3 minutes. That's it. Okay. I spent about 15-20 minutes on the charts around 7 a.m. Didn't see what I wanted. I kind of missed this trade. I was like, okay, I'm coming back at 8 a.m. I sit in front of the computer at 7:58 a.m., right? And boom, I look at the charts for 3 minutes, enter after 3 minutes, and I'm done after 6 minutes of trading. And also, even if I had been more greedy, which I was really tempted to do, by the way, I would have put, after hitting this, I would have put my stop loss at break even, and I would be break even, right? So I was very happy with that trade. Because I executed my plan and I did it well, my analysis was good. All right, so enough chit chat on the charts. That was like a $183 trade on my combine here, top step. Okay, so this is the range. And let's look at the absorption area. Let me go back to the chart. This is the absorption area, right, that I was talking about. Let's say we start from 7:20 a.m. to the last time we absorbed sellers in this area was at 8 a.m., right? So 7:20 to 8 a.m. So let's zoom in a little bit, not too much, because we want to have an idea of the environment. So yeah, this is around 7:20 a.m. First absorption, not huge sellers, then we got some buyers, then we kind of try this area again. Again, a lot of sellers here at the bottom, right? A lot of sellers at the bottom, they fail. We push up. I'm not taking a trade now. First of all, I'm walking my dog at that time, but I'm waiting for the 8 a.m. volume, because with the volume of 8 a.m., you can break through completely, you don't know what they're gonna do. So then comes 8 a.m., we have this push down, right? This candle here. This one, boom, big candle, making people think, oh, we're going to break down, grab some liquidity lower, whatever. But, I'm not selling, even if I see big short, I'm not selling in an area of absorption, right? And here, push down, but not that many sellers. And again, we fail. We fail here again. The sellers fail here again. And immediately strong push up. And the green buyers were not that big, to be fair, but I saw that we failed again. I saw that we had this kind of fake out right at the open of 8 a.m. So even though I would have liked to see some bigger dots here, and I knew that it wasn't the A++ perfect setup, it was really good enough for me, right? This candle and then these two candles was like, okay. And as you can see, actually I entered at 8:05, so no, I didn't enter here, that's for sure. I entered at the top, so somewhere around here. What was the price? 27.7, maybe a bit lower than that actually, but yeah, somewhere around here, right? And yeah, so it pushed through. You had a bit of sellers trying, not a lot of buyers at the top, which was a bit worrisome. You know, I wasn't 200% confident in that trade, but you know, again, the environment, the circumstances, the price action before that was good enough for me, you know. And then what happens, now let's see what happened here. I took profit, I was done with my trade. I was very curious to see what was gonna happen here. Are we gonna completely reverse and, you know, but of course we had pushed down here, considering there were a lot of contracts, 80 contracts, that's a lot, this big red line here. You can see that this big red line got completely filled. All these orders got filled by market buyers. These selling orders got filled by market buyers. It disappears. So, you know, if it stays orange or yellow after, it means that it's not fully filled, but they were completely filled. We do see some absorption because we had some more orders here, a little bit not that powerful, right? Because they're yellow-orange versus red. So maybe there were 20 contracts over here, I didn't pay attention. But you can see you definitely have absorption, right? And you could say if you were kind of new to this, you'd be, oh wow, look, huge sellers, absorption. Now you have some market sellers, let me short this, you know. Well, this is why it's a little bit more advanced, you know, because you have to take in consideration the general trend, right? You can go to the 1 hour a little bit, check it out. I mean, this is a strong uptrend. Check out the 4 hour, check out everything else. We're not gonna get into it right now, but don't short against the trend. I don't care how many contracts are there. And again, you can see that earlier, these highs right here, let me go to the 5 minute maybe, because I can, these highs got taken, we pushed down, but we absorbed, we failed to go any lower, we pushed up. This was a very good environment to have a true breakout. So you could say, well, hey man, your strategy is to see absorption, limit orders, and then sellers. Yes, but I'm not going against such a strong trend. It was an uptrend on every time frame, from the daily to the 1 minute, literally. And you don't often get that kind of confluence, by the way. So the better trade would actually, if I wasn't in this one, I would have waited for something like this. Some shorts to step in because they think, of course, we're going to reverse. And then these guys getting trapped, there's a few small limit orders there. So they absorbed that. And then, well, there weren't a lot of buyers. I wouldn't have entered, but it's still a way better trade, even though it doesn't look as good. It's way better than shorting this because, again, you want to go with the trend. And so having these guys being absorbed here, these shorts, is way better to go along here. But again, we kind of had exhaustion here then at the top because we didn't have a lot of buyers here at the top and we actually pushed down. So, you know, your entry would have been here. You wouldn't have been stopped out because let's say you enter here, stop loss a bit lower, you'd still would be in that trade. But here, yeah, let's look at again, a good reason to long maybe again here because you have decent sized shorts, not huge, but decent sized shorts here. So, and they're absorbed, so you have absorption. Push up, the longs definitely fail here. But then we go back down to this whole area here. What do you see? Like almost no more shorts. So what are we seeing? We're seeing absorption in this area and exhaustion. I always talk about exhaustion. I talk more about absorption, but we're seeing clear exhaustion here. And then price pushes back up. That's a great long. Again, I don't love it because you don't have big green dots here. And we did have some exhaustion at the top, right? We had absorption and exhaustion at the top. But we don't look at this too much. We take notice of it, but we're not going to try and short it. If it does break down, and it's possible and goes all the way down there, that's fine. Our job is to trade with the trend, to understand the context of the market, not to trade every absorption, every exhaustion, you know, willy-nilly. It's not going to go well for you. The higher probability trade is the one with the trend. And even if this setup, there's less absorption here than there is here, you could say this is a less good setup. Well, it looks less good, but it's within the context, it's way better. So absorption, exhaustion, you could have entered long even here at the top again, and you know, hope for the best because you know there was exhaustion here, but again, that would have been a good setup to long. That was not my trade. So you see, and before I take a trade, I like to really this is not just for you guys to show you. This is what I do for myself. I draw circles around the absorption areas. I justify to my own self, I justify my trade. That way, if it goes against me, I can say, wait, okay, I lost that trade. I did nothing wrong, okay? If it goes to these highs and fail again and whatever, I did everything right here. I literally can walk away from the charts, and I feel a bit pissed off because it didn't work out, but not that much, honestly. When I took a good trade, I'm not angry at myself. I'm a bit disappointed that it didn't work out, but yeah, that's a great trade, right? Absorption, 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 all in the same area, decent sized buyers. You're longing somewhat the top, but that's fine. I don't have a problem with that at all. And then boom, TP at the next limit order. Yeah, that's it. And as you can see, they broke out. I could be the kind of guy that is a bit more greedy and maybe a stop loss a bit lower, and doesn't break even. But I like to get out of it quickly. So this is it. I can show you guys while we're here, maybe from my journal. No, that's not. It's not it. Yesterday's trade was a more simple trade. So now you have a more advanced trade with more kind of market structure analysis, and something more simple perhaps from yesterday. Let's just bring them out here. Yesterday? No, that's not. Oh, I didn't have a screenshot of Bookmap. That's unfortunate. But let's check it out still. I can describe to you what was on Bookmap, because actually I think I made a short video, so you can check out the short video. It's the last one. I think I made that yesterday, yeah. But you can see what happened here. We took some lows here, and I actually should have taken a long here. Definitely should have taken a long. It was at 7 a.m. You see, I'm trading my hours. There was volume there at 7 a.m. I wasn't feeling it because I was kind of worried of this strong push down, but it was still bullish to the left there. So we took some lows here, grabbed some liquidity right here at exactly at 7 a.m. We grabbed these lows, which give us the fuel, and we have absorption, of course, at the bottom here, which gives us the fuel to push up. Then you have this big volume candle at around 7:04 a.m. I think. So you probably had some big green dots here. I definitely should have taken that trade. But then, so I miss it. What happens after that? Breakout of this range, right? We break out of this range here. Push down, retest the range. I remember pulling a fib here, I think, a Fibonacci, and we were at the 0.5 level Fibonacci, right? So I like that. We see some volume here. I'm like, okay, I'm not feeling it because I feel like I missed this. I should have got it from the bottom and not, over here. We had some resistance there. So I wasn't a fan of that trade. But then we had some volume here again. And what happened here is what I liked. We had a lot of sellers. Like we had some pretty decent sized red dots, right? So some market sellers were entering, and they kept on failing and failing and failing. So it just lasted 5 minutes, but we had a little red range, meaning red dots within a range, and just not pushing down. And we even had this wick. So I knew there were just some brand new, we couldn't see any limit orders. So these were hidden orders, also known as icebergs. They were just like hidden orders that you couldn't see on Bookmap, but clearly they were there because they were absorbing here all of these sellers. And then the buyer stepped in. Again, I could have entered here, but I wanted us to break out of this little range, and I longed the top, right? It's like, why would you long the top? Well, I had enough confirmations on Bookmap. So, and big red dot fails at the breakout. Oh yeah, so even within this candle here, if I recall correctly, that's what I wrote here, there was a big red dot, I think even bigger than what we were having here. And this guy didn't even push down slightly. You didn't even have a black candle. It was just immediately just kept on going. So sellers were failing inside of the range and on top of the range. So that was good enough for me. And again, guys, I'm not a greedy trader. It went up, obviously. But, I took my money and ran. Okay, I think that's it for today. As always, drop a comment and let me know if you want to see some more stuff. Maybe some more. I haven't done like a full video of my journals showing the good trades, the bad trades that I took. Yeah, so let me know if you're interested. If you have any more specific questions about this trade particularly, maybe I could get back into it, about absorption, about what the trend should look like, how to trade ranges, anything you're interested in. I'm very happy to. I love making these videos, to be honest. So yeah, don't hesitate to ask questions there.